we are going to discuss about how water movement takes place in plants. In our previous class, we have discussed that the root pressure is able to explain the movement of plants in movement of water in plants, but the root pressure is very slow and its magnitude is also very slow, and it is not possible to explain the movement of water up to 110 meters as in the case of sequoia sempervirens. Next, we come to this task. The next task is pull. Previously, I have told you there are two concepts for the movement of water to explain. The first one is the push. That push is by means of root pressure, and that is that is not possible. And now the second concept is pull. నీటిని క్రింద నుంచి పైకి లాగడం. That is called that pull. And that pull is here. It is extended, or it is given by means of this process called transpiration. Transpiration. As you know, what is meant by transpiration? Then the Bashvosakam answer. The loss of water, in the form of water vapor. In the form of water vapor from the aerial organs of the plant is called transpiration. As transpiration takes place, more amount of water is lost from the plant in the form of water vapor, so that a pressure is created at the tip of the plant. Plant చివర్లో ఒక pressure create అవుతుంది. A tension is created. That tension operates in the form of a pull. That pull is known as the transpiration pull. And this concept of transpiration pull model to explain the movement of water in tall trees like Sequoia sempervirens. This transpiration pull model was proposed by Dickson, a scientist called Dickson, who proposed this theory, transpiration pull model. And according to this transpiration pull model, there are three types of forces are operating for pulling the water from the base or from the lower part of the plant to the upper part. So the transpiration pull model, it explains three aspects or three factors. It is based on three factors. The first factor is cohesion, and the second factor is adhesion, and the third part is transpiration pull. These are the three factors which explain this model. Then what is meant by cohesion? If first, if we observe the cohesion, if you take up the xylem, this is the xylem vessel, and these are the water molecules. Water molecules are attracted by each other. Water molecules. So due to this attraction between the water molecules, a force is created inside the xylem. That force is known as the cohesive force, and that phenomenon is known as cohesion. Cohesion means attraction between the similar molecules. As xylem vessel is filled with water, more number of water molecules are attracted with each other, so that a cohesive force is created inside the xylem vessel. That is cohesion. And the second one is adhesion. Adhesion means the attraction between dissimilar molecules. Here, these are the water molecules, and these are the wall materials. An attraction between the water molecule and the wall of xylem is called adhesion. Cohesion means attraction between similar water molecules. Adhesion means attraction between the water molecules and the molecules of the xylem wall layers. As these two forces are operating, water appears in the form of a column inside the xylem vessel. And the third one is transpiration pool. When transpiration is at maximum, when transpiration takes place at greater magnitude, more amount of water is evaporating outside. As a result of that maximum evaporation, a tension is created at the tip of the plant. That tension is appeared in the form of a pull, that is known as the transpiration pull. And this transpiration pull, it pulls the entire water column that is formed inside the xylem vessel. As a result of these three forces, we can come across with two forces. The first one is maximum tensile strength. And second one is maximum capillarity. As these three factors are operating simultaneously, there is a scope for the development of maximum tensile strength in the water column, and there is also a scope for the development of maximum capillarity also. By the operation of these two forces, now the water is in the water column. Suppose this is the xylem and this is the water column. And now this water column with its high tensile strength, it appears in the form of a column, and now due to transpiration, finally here transpiration takes place. Now this water column, it is pulled from the base, it is pulled from the base to the tip of the plant. This is called transpiration pull. And this transpiration pull theory, as it was proposed by Dixon, it clearly explains how the water is moving through the longer distances, as in the case of sequia semi-permanence. And because of this transpiration pull, the tensile strength, that is about 300 atmospheres is created inside the xylem vessel. So with that tensile strength, the water can easily be transported from the basal part of the stem to the upper regions of the plant, and this phenomenon is called as transpiration pull model, as it was proposed by Dixon. It clearly explains. So the transpiration pull is also called as ascent of sap. So by this we can clearly explain how the water is transported from the soil to the longer distances like 100 to 110 meters, as in the case of sequia sempervirens. And this is the most possible theory and most valid theory, and this theory was accepted by so many plant physiologists. Now at present, this theory explains how the water is transported to such a longer distances as in the case of sequoia, and this entire process is called as the ascent of sap. And now this theory clearly explains this aspect of transpiration pull. So in our previous discussion just now completed, we came to know that a pull, transpiration pull is required for the transport of water from the base of the stem to the tip. Now, what is meant by this transpiration? బాష్పోత్సేకము అనే పేరు మీరు వినే ఉంటారు. ఈ బాష్పోత్సేకం ద్వారా మొక్కల్లో ఉండే నీరు ఆవి రూపంలో బయటికి విడుదలవుతుంది. As a result of this evaporation, a gradient is created by a gradient form అవుతుంది, and that gradient it appears in the form of a pull, that is called transpiration pull, that is mainly responsible for pulling the water from the root system to the tip of the shoot system. Then we come to this aspect known as transpiration. Transpiration means loss of water. Loss of water in the form of water vapor from the aerial organs of the plant. మొక్క యొక్క వాయువ్య భాగాల నుండి నీరు ఆవిరి రూపంలో బయటకు విడుదలయ్యే ప్రక్రియని బాష్పోత్సేకం అంటారు అని మీరు క్రింద క్లాసుల్లో నేర్చుకుని ఉంటారు. దాన్ని ట్రాన్స్పిరేషన్ అని అంటారు. ఇప్పుడు మనకి లెసన్లో ఉంది. ట్రాన్స్పిరేషన్లో డ్యూరింగ్ దిస్ ట్రాన్స్పిరేషన్ normally plants absorb water from the soil. Out of this water 99% of water is lost in the form of water vapor. చూడండి, plants ఎంత అబ్జర్వ్ మొత్తం టోటల్ అమౌంట్ that is absorbed by the plant, 99% of water is lost in the form of this evaporation. Only 1% of water is utilized by the plant for its various metabolic activities. And this transpiration phenomena, it based on this concept. Transpiration based on the concept of ఉంటుంది. That concept is known as SPAC, SPAC. So the concept for transpiration is called SPAC. SPAC now where S is equal to soil, P plant, A atmosphere, C continuum. So this is called SPAC. So the transpiration, the process of transpiration mainly based upon this concept known as SPAC. SPAC, if you observe a plant, suppose this is the plant and this is the root system and these are the branches of plant, and this is the soil, this is the plant, and this is atmosphere, వాతావరణం. నేల, నీరు, మొక్క, నేల, మొక్క, వాతావరణం. Soil, plant, atmosphere, continuum. Now water is absorbed from the soil. Now water enters into the plant. And from the plant, leaves. These are the leaves. So through the leaves, water is again sent out in the form of water vapor. ఇక్కడ ఇదంతా వాటర్. నేలలో నీరు, ఆ నీటినేమో మొక్క శోషిస్తుంది. మొక్కలో ప్రవేశించిన నీరు బాష్పోత్సేకం ద్వారా మళ్ళీ ఆవిరి రూపంలో వాతావరణంలోకి వెళ్ళిపోతుంది. Now this water vapor again it condenses and again in the form of rain, వర్షం రూపంలో again this water comes to the soil. So in the form of a cycle, ఒక చక్రీయ వలయం లాగా జరుగుతూ ఉంటుంది అన్నమాట. నేలలో నీరు ఉంటుంది, ఆ నీటినేమో మొక్క తీసుకుంటుంది. మొక్క నుండి నీరు మళ్ళీ ఆవిరి రూపంలో బయటకు పోతుంది వాతావరణంలోకి. వాతావరణంలో నీటి ఆవిరి అంతా జరిగి చల్లబడి వర్షం రూపంలో అగైన్ దట్ వాటర్ ఎంటర్స్ ఇన్ టు ది సాయిల్. సో this process is going on in a cyclic way, and this process is known as SPAC. And our entire process of transpiration depends upon this concept known as SPAC. Most of this transpiration takes place, maximum transpiration occurs by means of stomata. Stomata అని పత్రరంధ్రాలు అని అంటారు. If you observe the leaf, ఆ leaf లో ఇలాగా small pores ఉంటాయి. These pores are called as, మీకు తెలిసిందే, ఇలాగే కొన్ని ఉంటాయి. This is called stomata. So most of the maximum transpiration normally in plants takes place by means of stomata, hence this is called stomatal transpiration. Some amount of transpiration also takes place by means of cuticle, and a insignificant water loss also takes place by means of lenticels. So we can classify or we can categorize the entire process of transpiration into three types. సో ట్రాన్స్పిరేషన్ మూడు రకాలుగా మనం ఇక్కడ క్లాసిఫై చేసుకోవచ్చు. ద ఫస్ట్ వన్ ఈజ్ స్టొమాటల్ ట్రాన్స్పిరేషన్, సెకండ్ వన్ ఈజ్ క్యూటిక్యులర్ ట్రాన్స్పిరేషన్, and third one is lenticular transpiration. Out of these three, plants normally adopt the stomatal transpiration. And these stomata, as you know, these are the tiny small pores present on the leaves. పత్రాల మీద ఉంటాయి, వాటిని మనం పత్రరంధ్రాలు అని అంటాం. And most of the water is lost through these pores. And that process of loss of water through stomata is known as stomatal transpiration. Normally, stomata open during daytime, పగలు అంటే ఉష్ణోగ్రత అండ్ ఎక్కువగా ఉండే సన్లైట్ ఎక్కువగా ఉండేటప్పుడు మొక్కల్లో ఈ పత్రరంధ్రాలు తెరుచుకుంటాయి. సో ఈ టైంలో ఎక్కువగా పగటి పూట ఈ ట్రాన్స్పిరేషన్ ఎక్కువగా జరుగుతూ ఉంటుంది. సో ది టైప్ ఆఫ్ ట్రాన్స్పిరేషన్ which occurs through stomata in presence of light. So if stomata open in presence of light, such stomata are called as photoactive stomata. Stomata, on the basis of their opening, there are two types. In most of the plants, in majority of the plants, stomata are open during daytime, పగలు తెరుచుకుంటాయి. And such stomata are called as photoactive stomata. And for the opening of such stomata, sunlight is required. సూర్యరశ్మి వాటికి అవసరం ఎక్కువగా plants లో. 90% of plants exhibit this process. And the second type of process, stomata open. In some plants, stomata open during night times. రాత్రిపూట తెచ్చుకుంటాయి కొన్ని మొక్కలు డ్యూరింగ్ నైట్ టైమ్స్. ఇది పగలు డ్యూరింగ్ నైట్ డే టైం అన్నమాట. Photoactive stomata. But in some plants like cacti and bryophyllum, some desert plants where the stomata open during night times. పగలు సన్లైట్ చాలా ఎక్కువగా ఉంటుంది కాబట్టి ఆ పగలంతా కూడా పత్రరంధ్రాలు మూసుకొని ఉంటాయి, రాత్రి కూడా తెరుచుకుంటాయి. అండ్ సచ్ స్టొమాటా ఆర్ కాల్డ్ యాజ్ photoactive stomata. సో ప్లాంట్స్ లో ఎక్కువగా మనకి ఫోటోయాక్టివ్ స్టొమాటా ఎక్కువగా కనిపిస్తూ ఉంటాయి. ఈ ఫోటోయాక్టివ్ డిజర్ట్స్ ఎడారిలో వాటిలో పెరిగేటువంటి cacti and bryophyllum plants లో photoactive stomata means stomata which open during night time and they close during daytime. Photoactive means stomata open during daytime and open during night times. ఈ రెండిట్లో ఏవి ఎక్కువగా ఉంటాయి? Most of the plants are exhibiting photoactive stomata. If you take up stomata, structure of stomata. Stomata is having two kidney-shaped cells around. Each stomata is having two bean-shaped or kidney-shaped. మూత్రపిండ ఆకారంలో రెండు cells ఉంటాయి. And these cells are called as guard cells. And surrounding these guard cells, there are some other cells are also we can observe. These are called subsidiary cells. And these guard cells are also provided with the microfibrils. They are arranged radially. The opening and closing of stomata, పగలు తెచ్చుకోవాలి, రాత్రి మూసుకోవాలి. The opening and closing of the stomata is regulated by the guard cells. The guard cells, they act as valves. During daytime only, these guard cells, they absorb water from the neighboring subsidiary cells and they become swollen and the stroma మధ్యలో రంధ్రం ఉంటుంది. That stroma opens and transpiration takes place. So during night times, the guard cells becomes flaccid. They lose water. వాటర్ అంతా పోతుంది, అవి సంకోచిలోకి వస్తాయి. So the stroma closes and the transpiration will be closed during night times. This is the structure of stomata. So the opening and the closing of stomata depends upon the rigidity and the flaccidity of the guard cells. This transpiration, this is the rate of process of transpiration. This transpiration rate of transpiration, it depends upon some factors. Factors flow. First one is the light, second one is the temperature, and third one is water. Fourth one is light temperature. Wind velocity, and fifth one is humidity. These are the various factors on which the rate of transpiration actually depends upon. The first factor is light, second factor is temperature, and third one is water, and fourth one is wind velocity, and fifth one is humidity. By operating all these five factors, the transpiration rate goes up at a maximum level in almost all the land plants. You can do that. Opening and closing of stomata depends upon rigidity and flaccidity of guard cells. So guard cells are mainly responsible for the opening and closing of stomata. Then when the guard cells becomes rigid, when guard cells absorb water from the neighboring cells, ప్రక్కన ఉండే కణాల నుంచి నీరు guard cells లో ప్రవేశిస్తే, and those guard cells will become rigid. Then the stroma opens. So that condition is continuous during daytime. In the evening time, water from the guard cells is lost. Raksha kanala nunchi neeranta bayatiki potundi. Then the guard cells will become flaccid. To explain this movement of the stomata or the movement of guard cells, so many theories were proposed by different scientists, but the theory proposed by Leavitt, Leavitt's theory of potassium cation exchange theory, that was proposed by Leavitt. So this Leavitt's K plus cation exchange theory is most valid theory to explain the opening and closing of the stomata. So if you observe the guard cell, this is the guard cell. In the initial stages, in presence of light, potassium cations enters into the guard cells. This is called influx. During sunlight, this entry of potassium cations takes place. So the guard cells are filled with more amount of potassium cations in the early hours of the day. As we know, potassium is a cation. So if the concentration of potassium cations is to be increased in the guard cells, the equal amount of positive charge is to be sent out. ఇది ధనాత్మకం కాబట్టి గాడ్ సెల్ లో ఉండేటువంటి కొన్ని ధనాత్మక క్యాటయాలు బయటికి రావాలి. సో at the same time, when potassium cations enters into the guard cells, hydrogen protons from the guard cells, they come out. This is called efflux. Efflux means expelling out. So when potassium cations enters into the guard cells, equal number of hydrogen protons are coming out. This is called efflux. This is called influx. Efflux. Now, and the expulsion of potassium cations to outside is an active process. This can be repeated. So where ATP molecules are utilized, and similarly some chloride anions are also entering into the guard cells. So due to the accumulation of potassium cations and also chloride anions, and due to the expulsion of hydrogen protons to outside, the guard cells becomes the pH of the guard cells pH 8 pH increases. The pH of the guard cell increases. As a result of this pH increase, the water potential of the guard cells will be decreased. Water potential psi W decreased. pH ఏమో 7 అవుతుందన్న. When the pH becomes 7, the guard cells are now they are in tertiary condition. Their water potential is decreased. Now water from the subsidiary cells enters into the guard cells. Guard cells becomes turgid and they open during daytime. ఇవన్నీ కూడా డే టైంలో జరుగుతూ ఉంటాయి. డే టైంలో ఏంటంటే జరుగుతూ ఉంటాయంటే ఫస్ట్ వన్ ఈస్ పొటాషియం cations are entering into the guard cells. At the same time, same number of hydrogen protons are coming out. At the same time, chloride anions also enter into the guard cells to stabilize the equilibrium system in the guard cells. The guard cells pH increases up to 7. The water potential of the guard cell decreases. Now water from the subsidiary cells enters into the guard cells and guard cells will become turgid. The stroma opens during daytime. ఇలాగే డే అంతా కూడా ఇదే ప్రాసెస్ కంటిన్యూ అవుతుంది. యాజ్ మన ఎండ చల్లబడిన తర్వాత ఈవినింగ్లో దాన్ని మనం అబ్జర్వ్ చేస్తే డ్యూరింగ్ ఈవినింగ్ ది గాడ్ సెల్స్ ఫస్ట్ ఇది ఈవినింగ్, ఇది డే టైం. ది పొటాషియం cations డే టైం అంటే పొటాషియం cations లోపలికి వెళ్తూ ఉంటాయి. బట్ ఇన్ ది ఈవినింగ్ ద పొటాషియం cations they try to come out of the cell. పొటాషియం cations అంటే బయటకు వచ్చేస్తాయి. Simultaneously, the chloride anions are also coming out, and at the same time, hydrogen cations they make their entry. Hydrogen protons bite was second. Daytime, evening actually hydrogen protons are not locked. Daytime maintain the process జరుగుతూ ఉంటాయి. వాటన్నిటికి వ్యతిరేకంగా ఇక్కడ జరుగుతూ ఉంటుంది. Expulsion of potassium cations and chloride anions, influx of hydrogen protons takes place. ఇక్కడ ఏంటంటే the pH decreases to 5. ఇక్కడ ఇంక్రీజ్ అవుతుంది డే టైం. ఇక్కడ pH ఏమో 5 తగ్గిపోతుంది. The water potential of guard cells increases. Water potential value increases. Now the water from the guard cells will come out as a process called as exosmosis. So water from the guard cells will come out by a process called exosmosis. Now the guard cell will become flaccid. Now the stroma opens. Now stroma closes. So that inhibits the process of transpiration. So daytime lo ee reaction jarugute, night time lo ee reaction jarugute, and all these reactions are regulated by the presence of potassium cation. Plants absorb this potassium cation from the soil. As the concentration of the potassium cation increases in the guard cells, the events of the process of transpiration takes place in this manner. pH increases, water potential decreases, the guard cell becomes turgid. Water enters into the guard cells by means of a process called endoosmosis. In the evening, potassium cations will come out, chloride anions come out, hydrogen protons again enter into the guard cells. The pH decreases to 5, the water potential value increases. Now water from the guard cells will come out by a process called exosmosis. The guard cell will become flaccid and the stroma closes. This is the mechanism how the opening and closing of stomata takes place, and we can explain this mechanism by this theory proposed by Levitt. This theory is called as potassium cation exchange theory, and most of the scientists they have accepted this theory. Now this is the theory now which can explain how this process of transpiration takes place in plants. We can explain how the opening and closing of stomata takes place, and this is the mechanism for the operation of opening and closing of stomata and proposed by David. And we can conclude this lesson by saying, is it transpiration, is it necessary or is it an evil for the plant? బాష్పోత్సేక మొక్కకి అవసరమా లేకపోతే మొక్కకి దీనివల్ల హాని ఉందా? We can explain in both the way. Transpiration మొక్కలకు ఉపయోగకరం అని చెప్పొచ్చు, transpiration మొక్కలకు హానికరం అని చెప్పొచ్చు. That's why a scientist by the name Curtis called it as transpiration is a necessary evil. Transpiration is a necessary evil. But transpiration is necessary for plants. It is useful for the absorption of water and mineral salts. It is useful for the transport of water and mineral salts in the plant. And it maintains the turgidity of the plant cells. And all the plant parts will be healthy because of this transpiration, if this process continues. There are other side lo ganiste transpiration valla మొక్కలకు హానికరం కూడా ఇవన్నీ ఉపయోగాలు ఉన్నాయి చాలా, అలాగే కొన్ని హానికరమైన విషయాలు కూడా ఉన్నాయి. ఈవిల్ ఆస్పెక్ట్స్ ఏంటి? ట్రాన్స్పిరేషన్ ఈజ్ ఈవిల్ టు ప్లాంట్స్ బికాస్ 99% ఆఫ్ వాటర్ ఫ్రమ్ ది ప్లాంట్స్ ఈజ్ లాస్ట్ బై దిస్ ప్రాసెస్. మొక్కల్లో ఉండే 99% నీరు పైకి పోతుందంటే మరి అది ఒక రకంగా హానికరమే. సో బై దిస్ ట్రాన్స్పిరేషన్ ఏంటవుతుంది? ఆల్ ప్లాంట్ పార్ట్స్ విల్ బికమ్ విల్టెడ్. మొక్క భాగాలన్నీ కూడా పాడిపోతాయి. అండ్ ఫైనలీ దిస్ రిజల్ట్స్ ఇన్ ద డెత్ ఆఫ్ ది ప్లాంట్. మొక్కలో ఉండే నీరంతా బయటకు పోతూ ఉంటే మొక్క భాగాలన్నీ వాడిపోయి చివరికి మొక్క చనిపోయే ప్రమాదం వస్తుందన్నమాట. కాబట్టి ట్రాన్స్పిరేషన్ మొక్కలకు ఉపయోగకరమా హానికరమా అంటే రెండు ఆస్పెక్ట్స్ మనం ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేయాలి. ట్రాన్స్పిరేషన్ ఈజ్ నెసెసరీ, అట్ ది సేమ్ టైం ట్రాన్స్పిరేషన్ ఈజ్ ఈవిల్. అందుకని రెండింటిని కలిపి కర్టిస్ అనే శాస్త్రవేత్త ట్రాన్స్పిరేషన్ ఈజ్ ఎ నెసెసరీ ఈవిల్. ఇట్ ఈస్ నెసెసరీ, అట్ ది సేమ్ టైం ఇట్ ఈస్ ఈవిల్ టు ది ప్లాంట్. దీనివల్ల హానికరం ఉంది, దీనివల్ల లాభకరం కూడా ఉంది ప్లాంట్స్. సో బై దిస్ వీ కెన్ కన్క్లూడ్ this part of the lesson regarding the transpiration, mechanism of transpiration. Our next lesson will follow.